And we are live. Hello, everyone. Wow, right off the rip, $20 super chat. Thank you. Cheers to that. All right, so today we're going to talk about this new document. Boom. The American Astronautical Society publication, Advances in the Astronautical Sciences, Volume 5, and the proceedings of the Second Western National Meeting of the American Astronautical Society, and distributed by Plenum Press Incorporated, comes this very interesting document published from the Second Western National Meeting of the American Astronautical Society, which was held August 4th and 5th of 1959 in Los Angeles. This volume contains 26 reports on theoretical and experimental aspects of the most recent astronautical research to 1959. But super interesting because this is right in the middle of Project Blue Book. Frederick Alzofon and the origin of the gravitational field. Quite interesting stuff. And want to point out a couple really cool and interesting things that are in this new document because, we've covered Alzofon a little bit. We're still running some experiments and getting our Alzofon thing set up. I also did an interview with Frederick Alzofon. I'll link to that. Not Frederick Alzofon, sorry, David Alzofon, who is Frederick. This is the David's father, Frederick Alzofon. So we did an interview with David Alzofon on APEC before, and I'll post that in the description. APEC interview David Alzofon, because that's also quite interesting. We get to ask him a lot of questions about his father and his father's work. But here it is, this creation and annihilation process incorporated into physical theory, the concept of a light signal to include these processes as fluctuations of this light signal. Because the space-time metric is quadratic, a root mean square effect is generated, which allows description of matter and radiation by a single field. The equations of motion of the field are postulated and their solutions shown to reduce to a Coulomb-type field in the mean. The force field generated by creation and annihilation processes is shown to be attractive, proportional to the mass of the source, and inversely proportional to the square of the separation of the source and the test body. The redshift observed in the light received from distant galaxies can be explained in terms of the proposed model in terms of particle creation rather than as a Doppler shift. The Blackett formula relating the magnetic moment and angular momentum of a rotating astronomical body may be derived under conditions defining its limitations. So here we go. Frederick Alzofon stating, what same kind of thing, galaxy rotation problem. This dark matter was invented to take care of that, and this kind of does away with a lot of that. Plus, it opens up for new propulsion technologies, which a number of other physicists are arguing that this has been covered up, or I don't know. This weird things going on with this. The gravitational exists wherever mass exists. So this is really, really interesting. If people want to understand, this stuff about the gravitational field, it's really good to go back and read this from 1959 and just to see where they were at in the late 1950s. And just hearing David's story too about how his father tried to get more people. It's awesome that he got this published and stuff, but he was trying to get more people to research and get interested in this theory. So it was really quite interesting because there's a number of places in this where he talks about polarization of the vacuum, and this creation and annihilation of charged particles. and this Lamb-Rutherford line shift for the hydrogen atom in terms of these virtual creations. Very interesting stuff that they're talking about antimatter, antigravity, and using light signals to create these positron, electron positron pairs. Really. And then talks about these equations of motions as they're separated. 8 independent degrees of freedom. There are 8 potential functions instead of the 4 of the Maxwell's equations. Only a typical equation like 20 will be considered in the present work. So, all right. So in any case, this is super interesting. I want to get more into there's some more engineering parameters that actually help us with our experiments in Alzofon, which we're still in the process of getting worked on. Let me just see this alien sciences. My channel, more channel. Oh, there was a video we just had where Mark was showing the Alzofon setup, and he's getting ready to set that up soon. I was gonna have him on the other night and got him all set, and then I ran into some technical problems on my end and wasn't able to go live. So sorry about that, Mark. But yeah, we're going to dig into this more, and this could very, I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe that if they had this breakthrough in '59 or something, that we wouldn't be as further along than we are now. Really cool looking back at these old papers and seeing the stuff that they just didn't have half of the sources that we have now, and they're citing all the known just regular literature of the time, which is really antiquated stuff nowadays, but really interesting ideas on these potentials for the gravitational field. All right, well, I'll bring again, thank you for the super chat. Great, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, the Jetsons 62, huh? Oh, you guys can hear someone in the background. All right, yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. This is super interesting. Someone sent this to me, and I'm not going to go too late because I do have kids here and stuff, so I'm not going to be going too late. Well, I just wanted to announce this and show the link to it so people could go and download this and read it, because this is super interesting. It talks about this Lamb shift and using ground state hydrogen. They've been after this whole idea of using hydrogen, actually crystallic or metal, hydrogen metal or solid hydrogen, because of the properties of this that Lamb-Rutherford shift, where they can pump light into it and get these electron positron pairs. So I guarantee you there's been work done to further this theory since 1959. But it's super interesting. You know, we heard like David Alzofon's story where, you know, his father struggled for a number of years to get this get this research funded and picked up and taken seriously, and that it took a long time to get interest from the establishment in this kind of stuff. But then again, they tend to take people like him and Brown of the time, and they took their ideas, funded their research. You know, Brown was fortunate; he got like some of the funding and actually did some of the research. But a lot of times they pay other scientists just to explore the ideas, and they don't even hire the actual scientists who came up with the ideas to work on the projects to study them, which is crazy, but that's what happens for secrecy. And They convince these kind of people that they're crazy, they shouldn't pursue this, and they're nuts. And meanwhile, millions are spent in the background on these black budget programs to research and investigate these types of things. So yeah, check this out. This is a great discovery, and links back to 1959 Lockheed Martin looking into antimatter, antigravity, or at least that they were made aware of it as far back as 1959. Doesn't mean they developed it or did anything with it, but yeah, 59. So 3 years later is when they had the Jetsons start. You know what's interesting about the Jetsons, right? Is that I wanted to point this out on the live stream before we end. But the Jetsons have these cars, and on all the cars was this little antenna. Yeah, you see these antennas? It's an antenna with these two rings on it that is what provides the anti-gravity for the Jetsons car in the future with the Jetsons. And it's interesting that the Tic Tac had those antennas, you know. The Tic Tac UFO had these same kind of protrusions on the bottom. It's like the Jetsons. I thought that was interesting that, these pictures of it or the diagrams of it show the same exact type of thing, like the Jetsons craft. I just thought that was neat and maybe a coincidence or maybe not. But in any case, yeah, we're going to try to build one of these things. That's what I'm hoping. And we'll test out a lot of different ideas for technologies and stuff. But yeah, the Jetsons and the futurist view of how this stuff works is quite interesting. Yeah, it was a big topic, man. There was a lot of people interested in it. There was a lot more open-mindedness or whatever. Anyways, thanks. Have a good night. I'm gonna call it a day for this stream, but I just wanted to share that piece of info with you and let people know. Thank you. The search continues. We're still putting all these pieces together. So I thank this community. You guys are great for bringing this kind of information around into my attention, and thank you so much. And keep the intel drops coming. You know where to find me. You know how to get a hold of me. Yeah, I'll definitely check. You can get a hold of me on Facebook or Twitter as well if you can't email me. So badass. Thank you for the intel drop, and looking forward to more stuff as it comes in. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night.